Hi there, you're watching Trending at 10. 31st of October is a day marked on the Indian political calendar as a very important one. The day when a great freedom fighter, Iron Man Sardar Vallabhbhai Patel was born, and also the tragedy around this date, that this is the day Indira Gandhi was assassinated in 1984. But over the years, 31st of October has become some sort of a political legacy war day. You pick up newspapers early in the morning and you will see a proxy advertisement war between the Congress and the BJP. The BJP accusing the Congress of muting the legacy of the Sardar and glorifying that of the Gandhis. So how could today be any different? In fact, a day when we thought Kashmir's new identity will take over this date, the legacy battle over the legacy war between Congress and the BJP continues today as well. What purpose does this legacy battle serve, we ask? How is this going to help Kashmir or any of the constituents in this country, we ask? That debate up ahead. Let me introduce my guest this evening. Professor Sanjeev Tiwari is a political analyst with me in the studio. Javed Ansari, senior journalist, has tracked political developments and particularly around 31st of October really well, Javed. Professor Mridula Mukherjee, you're a historian as well as a JNU professor. Thank you so much, ma'am, for joining us. And Shantanu Gupta, you're also a political analyst with us on this broadcast. Professor Mukherjee, let me begin with you. Should we now get used to picking up the newspaper early morning on the 31st of October and just seeing a plethora of ads? It's almost become a template, no? That BJP governments will push for Sardar Patel ads on the 31st of October, whereas the Congress will push for, Indira Gandhi's adverts. It's become a bit of a template.
Well, at least this morning I saw one ad quite prominent by the government of Chhattisgarh,
yeah,
which had both the Sardar and Indira Gandhi right next to each other.
You would say.
Which, no, it's not kind of political correctness, it's appropriate.
Correct.
Because there is no reason the Congress should not, be very proud of Sardar Patel as well as with all her faults of Indira Gandhi. So I think it's fairly legitimate that they should be able to commemorate both, one a day of tragedy and another a day of great celebration, Sardar's birth.
Yeah, okay. Javed Ansari, my point over here is that on a day when many thought that it is going to be about Kashmir, it is going to be about celebration of the status or a debate around the new status of Kashmir, this was a war that went on. I mean, you look at the Congress, Priyanka Gandhi, she tweeted where she said that don't forget, Sardar Vallabhbhai Patel was against the RSS, reminding the BJP that you may try to appropriate his legacy, but remember what he stood for.
And I thought that was a very intelligent remark by Priyanka Gandhi, much better than the way the Congress has been reacting to this, to Sardar's, to the fact that the BJP is trying to appropriate him. The Congress has been, has been wrong-footed by the BJP. Priyanka Gandhi has come up with a pretty smart one. She says, after all, she's owning up his linkages with the Congress party. If I were a political manager of the Congress party, I would have done this the moment the BJP started talking up Sardar. And if you personally ask me, this is a contrived controversy. Both are towering personalities, tall leaders in their own right. They've made their contribution to the country, and they can coexist. We need to respect and respect both of them. Respecting one cannot be at the cost of the other. It's not either or. Why can't it be both?
Professor Tiwari, the point is that when the BJP came to power, or even when they were not in power, you saw them talking about Sardar Patel. that here is a party, because this was a nice study in contrast for them, that on one hand you've got a political party which has tried to mute the legacy of others other than the Gandhis. So I can understand why they are doing this.
I'm agree with Javed what he was talking about. They are the two icons of the nation. And Sardar Patel doesn't belong to any political party. He belongs to the country first.
No, but right
he
now,
was the person who
what else is
unified
this
the
war?
entire country, number one. Number two, as
You
far
can't
as
deny the fact that he was a
yeah,
congressman.
of course he was a congressman, and of course the Congress of yesterday is not the Congress of today. You also remember it. The Congress of 1947, it was a national movement. It was not a political party. And time and again I have told you, Mahatma Gandhi had clearly said that Congress work is over now. Congress should be banned now. It should be dissolved. That is why, number one,
No, he never called for a
dissolved,
ban. Get your
dissolved.
Point of correction.
Get your
Dissolve.
facts right.
Professor
Of course,
Mukherjee.
number two.
One
Number
moment.
two.
Let's listen into the point of correction.
Yeah.
Professor Mukherjee.
No. I think there's a lot of misinterpretation of what has been later called Gandhiji's last will and testament. It was actually something that he wrote, not knowing that he was going to die, and he didn't intend it as a last will and testament. That title was given by the editors who published it later after his death, and it is very erroneously, certain phrases from it have been picked up, where there was actually a year-long debate going on in the Congress in which all leaders were participating. What would be the new role of the Congress after independence? Because here it's been a party of opposition. Now you have to come into government, but what do you do the movement space? Who's going to now represent the people? So it was actually a very serious, intellectually loaded discussion, a meaningful discussion on a new role for the party, which is then distorted into Gandhiji saying the Congress should be abolished. Of course, in the same date newspaper, he also says the Congress can never die. If the Congress dies, the nation dies. I can quote chapter and verse to you.
Yeah.
So
But
this
then you're
is
saying
a gross
selectively a part is being, but that's politics.
Yeah, no, it's all right. Surely, if we are talking of Gandhiji, then we can't just dismiss everything as just politics.
Correct.
There is whole thing about there being ethics in politics.
Correct.
We may not believe in that now.
Professor Tiwari.
Yeah, similarly, Sardar Patel, he never talked about RSS is a bad organization or bad organization. I would like to quote one of the quotations. One of the quotation in his letter, Mridulaji, just a second. In his letter dated 27th of February 1948, it has been quoted in Durgadas book, that is the correspondence of Sardar Patel, in page number 56, 57 and 58, where he clearly praises the role of the RSS. Not only that, the letter dated 11th September 1948.
If you look at the screen right now, this is a quote from Sardar Vallabhbhai Patel after banning the Sangh in 1948, as Professor Mukherjee was saying, where he says, and I quote, "As a result of the poison, country had to suffer the sacrifice of the invaluable life of Gandhiji." Unquote.
Yeah, of course. It's one of the quotation, but I am reading the same quotation which I have prepared.
So when you say that he was
there
not
is
against
no doubt,
RSS, Professor Mukherjee says he only banned it.
the same quotation is there, the same letter is there which is quoted. There is no doubt that the RSS did service to the Hindu society in the areas where there was no need for help, and there was need for the help and the organization. The young men of the RSS protected women and children and stove much of their sick. No person of understanding could have a word of objection regarding that. That is also the quotation. The same letter is that. You cannot take it, what do you call it, 2 words, 4 words. You have to.
Similarly, you can't take a few words out of what
that is
Mahatma
why
Gandhi may
time
have
and
said.
again I am saying Sardar Patel is a national icon.
No, of course he is. Who's
BJP,
disputing that?
RSS, Congress, everybody is free to basically take the, what do you call, privilege of Sardar Patel. Nobody stopped the Congress for 41 years to giving him the Bharat Ratna. It was given only in 1991.
Okay.
That is why.
Shantanu Gupta has not spoken. Shantanu, let me come to you. Do you think that now the political point that the Bharatiya Janata Party wanted to make on Sardar Vallabhbhai Patel has been made? You have corrected a sort of a historical wrong, a political wrong, and now at least we should move forward. Instead of this 31st of October becoming, an annual legacy war day.
Sanket, I'll start with the first chapter of a recent book by Hendol Sen Gupta on Sardar Patel. he says very interestingly that in India there is a Gandhian thought, in India there is a Nehruvian thought, why in India there is no Patelian thought? And that's a very interesting chapter one should read. That how Congress and the left intellectuals, a couple of them sitting in your channel right now, they butchered everyone but Nehru Gandhi family. Even Ambedkar, be it Congress's own leader, apart from the Nehru Gandhi family. So finally a party is coming and resurrecting the other icons, which we can learn from. Be it from the statue, be it from the unity run, be it from the amazing initiative a lot of people don't even know about is Ek Bharat Shresth Bharat, where two states are coupled. Sardar Patel united India politically, geographically, and Narendra Modi started a program of coupling two states together so that they learn from the culture of each other. And they're trying to unify culturally. So if a party finally is coming and learning from the icons which Congress and other parties have forgotten, I think we should appreciate.
But you've done it, no. That's my point. It's been done.
It's not a one-day event. It keeps happening. So let's say the projects like the statue project. It's a huge project now. It's a huge icon. It's now on the world map. Like the Ek Bharat Shresth Bharat initiative, where two states are coupled to culturally unify India. Where Punjab is coupled with Andhra Pradesh, Haryana is coupled with Telangana, UP is coupled with Meghalaya. That's an amazing initiative. So it should go on. Why should it be a one-day initiative? One-day advertisement and statements here and there is fine.
Okay, Shantanu, I'm going to come back to you. There's some problem with your audio connection. We're going to quickly fix that and come back. And I'll also request you to not get or refrain from getting personal against people on the panel. It's just not good. That's my request. It's going to be my request to you. Professor Mukherjee, I want to come to you about this allegation that a lot of wrong has been done by left centrist-leaning historians. What does this mean?
I don't know what it means. I think that, for some reason, this has become a kind of favorite whipping boy of the BJP. And
but was Sardar Patel's legacy forgotten?
No, I don't think so. I think very fine books have been written on Sardar Patel's, including biographies and other studies. I myself, 25 years ago, wrote a long piece on Sardar Patel and the Bardoli struggle. It's there for anyone to see, because I primarily see Sardar Patel as a very important peasant leader. And that is something, in fact, nobody talks about. We only talk about what he did about integration of the states, etc. As if Sardar Patel did nothing from 1918 when he joined the movement till 1947 when he started integrating the states. Nobody talks about Sardar Patel as a political fighter against the British and the prime leader of the peasantry of Gujarat, who fought the toughest battle of peasants against colonial rule, in which they were thoroughly defeated. That is the Bardoli struggle. To me, he is a hero for that reason, as he was to the women of Gujarat who gave him the title of Sardar.
Correct.
When he led them in Bardoli. So there are so many facets to the Sardar. He led the flag satyagraha. He did massive relief work in floods. He was an organization man. And now to say you are belittling his legacy because there's no Nehruvian thought, there is no Sardarian thought. Not every leader or not every actor in a political scenario has to make an intellectual contribution and an ideas contribution. He was an organization man. He made stellar contributions in the field of administration, organization. But he was not. Did he write 3 books, like, famous books like Nehru did? No. But that's not belittling him. Because not everybody has the same the beauty of the national movement was that everybody had their own talents,
did their own part,
and did their own contribution, and that's we recognize all of that.
If the national movement was only made up of Nehru and of 100 Nehrus, then perhaps it may not have been that successful. In a team, you need all kinds of people. Nehru had a very different role. Gandhiji was the father figure. Nehru had a very different role. Sardar Patel had a very different role. The other luminaries had a very different role. This doesn't mean that one was greater than the other or one was less so. And therefore, to pick and choose is I think, a bit unfair. Unfair even to the memory and to the stature of Sardar.
Let me ask you this question, Professor Tiwari. While the BJP or while the present dispensation is trying to correct what you feel is a post-independence wrong, that has been committed by the Congress government by propagating the views of only one family. My point is, what stops you in this course correction to talk about that family's contribution itself, like Jawaharlal Nehru and Indira Gandhi? I never see BJP ads on Indira Gandhi, do I?
Of course, when you go to any of the library, or if you will take out with any of the
No,
plans,
I'm talking about
you will
31st
find
October.
you will find books only on this family. Number one, as far as Sardar Patel is concerned, I have also some contribution in Sardar Patel's study. That is the role in the constitution making in the country, and that my contribution in as far as the academics is concerned. And I have gone through the entire volume of the research, and I found that his role in the constitution making process was at par with that of the other leaders who contributed in the constitution making. That I have proved, because his role is in two of the committees. Number one, the advisory committee, which he was chaired, and the other is the state committee. Those two committees were very important.
What's the point that you're trying to make?
I'm trying
that
to make that
intellectual effort
basically
was belittled.
Yeah, not only that. Even I have just given you one of the example that way after his death, 41 years after his death, even Indira Gandhi got the Bharat Ratna prior to Sardar Patel.
Okay.
And number one. Number two, who has stopped the Congress to celebrate the National Unity Day, which was started only in 2014? Who has stopped the Congress to build a statue?
Who has stopped the
BJP
from celebrating the legacy of a former Prime Minister Indira Gandhi? Similarly, who has stopped the Congress party from celebrating the legacy of Sardar Patel?
Who had stopped the Janata Party government from building a statue in the memory of Sardar Patel, in which Mr. L.K. Advani and Mr. Atal Bihari Vajpayee were both ministered? Who had stopped the Atal Bihari Vajpayee-led government from celebrating and eulogizing Sardar in the manner in which it is being done there? Will the gentleman answer?
Yeah, I will answer.
Yeah.
I will certainly
there
answer.
There is a political angle to it. The eulogization of Sardar Patel,
Javed sir, you listen my answer.
You permit me to finish?
I
don't interrupt. There is a political angle to it. His memory is being politicized, which is absolutely unfortunate.
Okay.
That is why in beginning itself, on the outset, I told that he is the national icon. Nobody stops any political party to celebrate and basically take the Sardar Patel's legacy.
No, but
no political party. There is no need to compare Sardar Patel and Indira Gandhi. Both are having their own contribution at their different point of time.
Similarly, why should his legacy only be limited to being the unifier? That is one aspect of his personality. That is one big contribution of the other contributions.
That is why, as far as his role as unifier is concerned, there were 565 princely states.
No, that we are aware.
564 were given to Sardar Patel. One was given to Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru, and that particular portfolio was reserved by Sardar Jawaharlal Nehru because he was the Prime Minister at that point of time. Of course, it's a historical fact, and that could not be integrated completely.
How many times will you keep saying that? Then people will attach a political motive. Shantanu Gupta, see, I come back to the same point. I hope your audio is fine now. I want to ask you, for how long will this continue? I mean, I can understand you have a run for unity, you have a statue also in his honor. All of that is, I mean, you're well within your right, and we must celebrate the legacy of Sardar Patel. But to always show the Sardar taller than, the contribution of others, do you think would Sardar have liked it? Let me put it this way.
Sanket, I think first of all, I'm very happy that at least you are having a debate with Sardar Patel. I know how, before 2014 you had in your journalist career had a long debate on Sardar Patel. That itself is a big correction that's happening in media and elsewhere, right? And why not? So I think we celebrate the 2nd October every year, and we do Mahatma Gandhi Jayanti and a lot of things about Mahatma Gandhi every year. Why not around Patel? What's the problem if someone does around Patel? People do around Nehru, people do around Gandhi.
I never contested
even that. Around Rajiv Gandhi.
My point is,
so let's do
increasing his stature politically and belittling the stature of others.
Who is belittling the stature of others?
That's why I asked you this question. Why is there always a political villain in Jawaharlal Nehru whenever we talk about Sardar Patel?
There's specific points that people talk about. Why Jawaharlal Nehru? A lot of free marketers will talk about his socialist policies that has spoiled India. lot of people say he had put India in a very Western frame. And the education system was westernized, which could have been undone, what British had done in 1857. So there are specific points people talk about Nehru, and we can based on them.
Okay, I mean, I apologize to our viewers and also to Mr. Shantanu Gupta for that very terrible audio connection. I think there seems to be some bandwidth issue, lest he accuses me of not allowing or giving him space to speak. Please don't do that, Shantanu, because there's a technical issue here. Professor Mukherjee, I want to come back to you. See, let me ask you this question. Do you think it is right to talk about the towering legacy of Sardar Vallabhbhai Patel by belittling the legacy of others? I mean, a simple point, can't all of these leaders coexist?
As they did. Let's not forget during the period of the freedom struggle. If they had done what we are doing to them now, we would never have won our independence, let me assure you of that. Okay. I mean, it's a simple fact, no? They all pulled together. They were all very strong-willed people with their own strong views on economy, strong views on politics, strong views on social issues.
Professor Mukherjee, why
no,
is
but
this?
Please listen to me. And they had those differences. And despite those differences, they tried to resolve them, often came to a consensus, but they worked together, all right? And they respected each other. Now we are trying to make them not only rivals, but some kinds of enemies of each other, which they were not. Neither rivals nor enemies. They were comrades who had differences, but worked together. And especially, I think it's necessary to point out that, especially after Gandhiji's death, from 1948 till 1950 when Sardar Patel died, these were two very tough years for India. The partition riots had happened, Gandhiji had died, the assassination. It shook up India, it shook up everybody in India. Then you had the refugee problem. Then you had the elections coming up, the first elections. If Sardar Patel and Jawaharlal Nehru had not worked together, as their letters testify, and they particularly say to each other, now that Bapu is gone, we will work together even more than we did. When he was there, we could express our differences.
Correct.
We could, but now we have not even that luxury. So we have to really work together, and they did, for the benefit of this country. So whether it was Kashmir, whether it's Article 370, all these divisions which are made, differences of approach and opinion are there in every society, in every party, in every government. But to blow them up like this is unhistorical.
All right. Let's just hope that a bit of this legacy is what we talk about the next time, that is on the 31st of October 2020, when I'm sure there'll be a legacy war again. Professor Mukherjee, Javed Ansari, Professor Tiwari, as well as Shantanu Gupta, thank you so much for joining us. That's a wrap in this edition of Trending at 10. Good night and goodbye.